sometimes you just find cool stuff at a garage sale that you really don't need, but it's just very cool and you just want to get it, so you get it. So this is one of them. Hello preppers and homesteaders. I'm going to go over cool prepping things that you can find garage saling or at garage sales that you wouldn't think would have a prepping use. And there's all kinds of cool, I love going to garage sales. That's like one of my favorite pastimes. So I'm going to show you some cool things that okay, I had to stop the camera. The camera has a tracking feature that tracks onto my face and it tracks movement. For some reason with this shirt, it kept switching from my face to Reagan's face. So it's kind of funny because the camera was just going nuts. But I love garage sailing. So it's one of those things that when I go to a garage sale, generally I really don't need anything, but I try to look for stuff that I could use that has an alternative like prepping use. And that's low cost. That's like the whole purpose of going to a garage sale for me. And just finding like hidden treasures. One of those items, and generally almost every garage sale I go to, I can usually find this item and I try to buy them all up if they have them. And they're generally really cheap. So I'm gonna show you that one right now. Okay, what are these? The last garage sale, well not the last one, but one of the last garage sales I went to, they had a bunch of these and I got them really cheap. What are they? They are sunglass cases. But they're the kind of the newer style. These ones are Oakley, Wiley X. I'm gonna just show you this one just to go over it. So what's so cool about these? Well, for starters, they're light. They're usually some kind of nylon, but they have a clamshell design generally. And as you can see, you can open them up and you can put stuff inside of there. And then they zipper, but they're semi-rigid. I mean, yeah, you drop a brick on this, it's gonna smash it. But you put smaller items into there and it's usually, a lot of them have little clips on them so you can clip it onto things. You can use it as a pull tab. I like to use these for organizers in my backpacks so I can put stuff in there. Believe it or not, I have one of these that holds my camera parts that I'm filming this on right now. I got it at a garage sale. You can put all kinds of cool little stuff into there and some of them are a little different shape, but they're all really pretty much the same. This one's even got the bonus wipe inside of there, but it's got the little hard shell. Very cool. One of those items that you probably passed over these in many garage sales, like, why do I need a sunglass case? I don't wear sunglasses, I have prescriptions. I don't like sunglass cases, but these ones are great because the hard plastic ones, they tend to break. These ones have a little give to them, but they're like, I don't even know what they use for the rigidity in them, maybe some kind of plastic, but they're fabric covered. So they're pretty quiet when you put them in your pack. They're just a super cool item that is just pretty awesome for prepping items. Like you can use these for so many different things. You always see one of these ammo cans. No explanation needed here with these, but I see these all the time at garage sales. I picked up some World War II ammo cans and those are just kind of cool as a collectible, but ammo cans are just super useful. I tend to, not at every garage sale, but at least half of the garage sales I go to, I see ammo cans. And when you see these, be sure to ask. I've gotten ammo at garage sales. I've gotten guns at garage sales. You generally just have to go to the people that are running the garage sale and say, hey, I saw that ammo can. Do you got any other cool stuff, guns, ammo, that type of stuff? And a lot of times people don't want to put it out because, it's an added liability and things, but if you specifically ask, they'll be like, oh, sure, because they probably have stuff they want to get rid of. So you can always find extra stuff there that's just really cool, like ammo cans. One of the other things you can find is things such as this, military surplus or hunting stuff. Every time I go to a garage sale, I'm tuned to just notice camo, OD green or something like that, and I'll just tune into that and head that direction. But you can find cool things such as like Alice equipment, which is, the old military stuff. This kind of stuff is getting really hard to find, but a lot of people just have it sitting around in their garage for years and stuff, and they just want to get rid of it cheap. And I don't know if you know anything about Alice packs though, but these are still a great backpack to have for a bug out bag. They have an aluminum frame. People are still using them. It's just stands the test of time. You might find newer stuff, old stuff. I found even the military sleep systems at garage sales really cheap. You can always find cool military surplus that will work great for survival use and prepping and homesteading. Tools, various tools. Every time I go to a garage sale, I find something. I mean, who can't use another set of bolt cutters? These are just great to have. It's one of those things, tools. I find hammers, drills, just a lot of the prices are so cheap. People just want to give this stuff away almost. And a lot of times you can get stuff for free. Actually, goes back to the surplus stuff, but I was just at a garage sale and I saw a pile of surplus stuff on the ground and it was kind of dirty and it didn't have a price on it. And I asked how much and the lady just said I could take it. And she just said it needed to be cleaned. So I took it and I washed it. So that's some of those things. And some of the same thing with tools. You're going to see some tools that are, new tools that are kind of pricey, and you'll see some older, dirty ones that, they might just be like, take it for a cheaper price. One of the things you can do too that is highly recommended when you go to a garage sale and you see a big bunch of like tools or surplus or whatever, you could always ask, hey, how much if I take it all? And sometimes they'll give you a deal. And a lot of times they'll give you a box too. Another item you can find, random camping stuff. People love the idea of camping. They buy camping stuff and then they go once and then all that stuff sits in the garage and then it's sold pennies for the dollar at a garage sale. I always find these water jugs at garage sales. And I always just ask, hey, was anything stored in there besides water? Usually they'll just be like, no, we haven't had anything in it. Sometimes they still have the tag on it. And I'll just buy these and then, just take them home, take some bleach, clean them out, and then use them. They're just a great, 5-gallon water jug. And these, I have a lot of them. But you can find all sorts of cool camping, prepping stuff always at a garage sale. So you just got to keep an eye out when you go in there and you never know. A lot of times you can find cool things such as like wooden boxes, the old produce boxes. These you could use in your pantry. You could use them for storing and organizing, your preparedness stuff. But these are just great in the pantry for just stacking and storing stuff. And these I always find you can get them really cheap because you go to the store, they're relatively expensive. You go to a garage sale, they're almost giving them away. A lot of times you can also find various odds and ends, little planters and things like that. You can always find gardening supplies and you just have to have that mindset like, hey, can this have an alternative use for my prepping homesteading needs? And then just get them. Sometimes you find some pretty cool stuff though, hay hooks and things like that you might not really have a need, but they're just pretty cool and you can hang them up around the homestead, give it that rustic feel. Another thing you can do, such as our chickens over there, is if the people are, a lot of times you have to double check with the people when they're having a garage sale. Are they just having their spring cleaning garage sale or are they moving? If they are moving and you see that they have animals and other things, you could say, hey, are you moving those animals? Are you taking those animals? Do you want to get rid of them? And a lot of times they need to get rid of stuff and they don't have everything listed because they're thinking who's going to want to go to a garage sale and buy their chickens. So sometimes you can get certain things like chickens, goats, whatever. You just got to ask. And that's one of those things when you go to a garage sale, just chat with the people. You never know. You might make a new friend. You might find out that they're preppers and they've had stuff, for years and they just want to get rid of it. And who knows? You're never going to know until you ask. One of the things that I've also found at a lot of garage sales, and it's going to sound a little weird, but I have found old freeze-dried number 10 cans from like Y2K from, 10, 15 years ago. And these are like Mountain House brand, Provident Pantry, just all these random brands because, Y2K, 9/11, all these things, people tended to go out and stock up on food and then nothing really happens. They don't realize that it's insurance. You just got to have it and hopefully not need it. And then they don't want it taking up space anymore. And that $40 a can freeze-dried chicken, they'll give it to you now for $2 a can. Those are the cool deals. I went to a few and I got stuff for free also because I inquired. They had stacks and pallets of freeze-dried food. They didn't want it and they just said, take it. So sometimes it's, 5-gallon buckets with rice in there, beans and Mylar, and you just never know. I mean, you got to ask. Preppers move too. Preppers downsize. Preppers get rid of stuff. Preppers sometimes don't stay preppers. So it's one of those things. I found MREs, things like that. One word of caution though, you do have to realize that you don't know how that stuff was stored long-term. Our long-term food preps, we try to store at 70 degrees constant. So I always look at that stuff when I grab free stuff or really cheap stuff like that at garage sales. that is the great stuff to have as a Christian. You may want to give it to somebody else in an emergency. If somebody comes to your place and you don't want to use your own food that you have stocked up for your family, but as a Christian you still want to give something, that is a great thing to give, because there's a 99.99% chance the food is still great and perfect. It will help somebody else and you'll feel good about it. It's also one of those things when, you know, the old saying, when the crap hits the fan, everybody's like, we're going to your homestead. We're, you know, the rest of your family that lives in the cities that, you know, live in this happy, lucky world where nothing's ever going to go wrong. They always jokingly say, we're going to come to your place. If they do show up, that extra food will go a long way to help with that. Or if anybody, you know, a neighbor's in need, you know somebody who lost a job, you can give this extra food that is more than likely still good. So that is one of those cool items at a garage sale that never turn down. A lot of times if it's canned food, like regular, not long-term, I normally will let somebody else take that because I don't have the space for stuff like that. But freeze-dried, MRE type stuff, I will take, always, if I see it at a garage sale. So it's just a shame when you do see people giving that stuff away, because you know at one time they spent a lot of money and time preparing that. So sometimes it's sad. And I've also seen it where somebody in the family passes away and the family gets all this stuff and nobody in the family is a prepper and they just want to get rid of all this food, which I never understood, because food is a great way to hedge inflation. Prepper food really doesn't, if it's freeze-dried or long-term storage food, it doesn't go bad. It can store indefinitely, and why not just keep it? But a lot of people will get rid of it. So if that's the case and you have the opportunity to get it, take it. So hopefully this was helpful. Like I said, as a prepper, homesteader, if you get a chance to go garage selling, it's just a fun, cool way to find cool stuff for the homestead. And I'd like to see in the comments, what is your best or greatest garage sale find that you got for the homestead or for prepping? I'd really like to know, because mine kind of, you know, just various things. I got some cool water jugs. I got some cool World War II ammo cans. I got some ammo, you know, different things. But I'm just curious if anybody got something like really awesome, like that you just could not believe you got at a garage sale. I'd love to hear that in the comments. Prepper steaders that are listening to this, watching this, if you're new to the channel, we're preppers, we're homesteaders, we're prepper steaders, kind of merged together. A lot of preppers tend to be more on the doom and gloom and the world's going to end. I believe most of the people that follow this channel are kind of in the mindset that the world could end tomorrow, but God willing, we're all going to live to an old age and we need to prepare for both. And why not do that at a garage sale? Because garage sales are fun. Flea markets too. Flea markets tend to be higher priced, but I love finding cool stuff at flea markets too. And I love garage sales. I mean, I've gotten so much cool stuff even this year, but hopefully this was helpful. You can just find some cool stuff if you go out there. But remember, don't be afraid to talk to the people, ask them, probe them a little bit, because some people are embarrassed about selling prepping stuff and they don't want to put it out because they don't want their neighbors to know that they were preppers, and they just kind of hide it or they might toss it. So it's always a good idea to ask, because you never know. You might ask somebody and they're going to be like, well, yeah, actually I have, you know, they might see it as zero value and they know they need to get rid of it, and you might be the prayer they've been waiting for to get rid of it for them. So like I said, get out there, hit some garage sales, find some cool stuff. Please tell me in the comments what you found, because I like to hear stories too, because I know some people that have gotten some really cool stuff. Okay, I'm moving right now because I just put everything away. I'm gonna get rain down here in a minute, but go hit some garage sales and see what you can find. You never know what you'll find. But hopefully this was helpful in a way. Thanks again to everybody who's been following along on our journey. New subscribers, new watchers, people that have been watching since the beginning. Hopefully this was helpful. Like I said, we're getting into fall, so we're starting to prepare for fall. So I got to do a video on that, all the things we've been doing. But I just thought about fun prepping things that you can do, and garage selling is one of those. Yeah, it's been really busy lately. What do they say? When it rains, it pours. I actually got calls to do substituting, calls for this, calls for selling this, you know, like there's been a lot of events this month. So, you know, doing the state tax thing, just a busy time of the year, but it's a good thing. As they say, when it rains, it pours. So trying to get the barn dominium, I've been working on that, making some progress. So I'll be showing that soon too. That's, I did a lot of work on it the other day, probably too much work in one day. I literally took down the stairs, the loft, everything all in one push. And at the end of the day, I ended up cramping up and got a leg. I mean, I should have, I thought I was drinking a lot of liquid, but apparently I was, even with the air conditioner running on there, I was like in overdrive trying to get that done. And I got a lot done, but I sweat a lot and I ended up cramping up that whole night. So I got to really watch that, what happens. Kind of weird, because when I was young, I would get a cramp like once a year. Seems like now I get a cramp all the time. So thanks again, and until next time, bye. Till next time, bye. Big camera. I'm still waiting for the temperature in my water to be perfect. It's still warming up. I'm gonna end it there. Thanks. Like and subscribe. I gotta support this shirt because it was a gift. And I love it. I do. So thanks again.